There's rain on the radar again tonight. A slow-moving system continues to soak spots in the south. These pictures from Atlanta were a common sight if you live in the south. We'll tell you when the rain is going to end and where it's headed for tomorrow. Hello and welcome to the Weather Center. I'm Mike Seidel. Thanks for watching.
And I'm Paul Emmick. We'll have all the nation's weather plus the forecast on the way in just a moment. A lot of big changes afoot. First, let's start with a look at the south. These are some scenes from Dyersburg, Tennessee. With that story, here's Mike Seidel.
And Paul, we want to start it off with the jet stream winds. And again, we've got a ridge in the middle of the country and a trough on the west coast. This is where all the cold air is and the snow. Winter is back and it's going to be moving off to the east. Meanwhile, we've got southwest winds fanning the plains and Midwest. And it was one of those days you've been dreaming about for probably 5 or 6 months to cross the Great Lakes, because those southwest winds ahead of our cold front, temperatures really skyrocketed. A balmy afternoon in Chicago, Detroit, and record-setting highs in Alpena, Holton Lake, 72 degrees. Spring has finally sprung, but don't get used to it because that cold air in the western states will be moving in time for Easter Sunday. As we move west, a huge swirl in the atmosphere here. Look how fast these clouds are moving. Very strong winds, and that wind energy will translate to the likelihood of some severe weather as we get into the Saturday and Easter Sunday time frame. In the meantime, if you're a skier, you got to be loving this kind of weather pattern. Fresh powder tonight for the Wasatch Front and into the ski resorts west of Denver, the high country west of Denver. By this time tomorrow, snow will have fallen. There's the cold air. This is the warm air. No severe weather expected tonight. There could be a few strong storms in the upper Midwest. Look out around Minneapolis, St. Paul. But severe weather is going to hold off, we think, until the end of the week. Temperatures, cold. And we're talking about sub-freezing levels. Lander at 29, Boise now 36. The road's in pretty good shape, but earlier today in Boise, the snow was flying. Yes, it was. It began around mid-morning through mid-afternoon, leaving 2 to 3 inches on the ground. Now, the accumulating snow has stopped for now, but don't be surprised to see a few more flakes overnight tonight and tomorrow. And on the radar right now, we can pick up that snow around the Salt Lake City area, especially through the benches, up through the Wasatch Front. Maybe 10, 12 inches in the mountains. Otherwise, west of Denver, it's quiet right now, but temperatures will be tumbling and the snows will be flying, especially in the high country west of the Mile High City by this time tomorrow. A few showers in that very cold, unstable air. As the sun sets, we'll see these showers continue to dissipate, and a great forecast setting up for the weekend in Seattle, in Portland, San Francisco, and Los Angeles, at least between now and about Saturday. As sunshine returns, temperatures will be warming up and no threat of rain for a couple of days. Can you imagine that? That's a look at your current weather in the west. We'll have your forecast coming up. First, we turn things back to Paul.
Because the United States...
Okay, Paul, let's get into the forecast as we get into the Thursday morning time frame. The snows will continue in the west. There's our front and our storm winding up. Not only snow, but wind-driven snow, icy wind chills. Just think early March instead of the first day of April. An April Fool's joke. No kidding. Casper, Cheyenne, Rapid City, get the shovels out there. Another warm, windy day in Chicago, Dallas, New Orleans, out of the rain, but the soup continues on the East Coast. If you're watching tonight from Charlotte, Raleigh, Durham, into Washington, Philadelphia, and eventually into New York and Boston, this rain is going to be scooting right up the eastern seaboard. No severe weather at this point with this front, but that will be changing as we get into the weekend as those snows continue to add up. Some of you may get 8, 10 inches of snow before it's all over with. But finally, high pressure, the wind going offshore in Seattle and San Francisco. So as a result, the weather turns fair for a few days. Nice break from the rain in the Pacific Northwest. There's your snowfall in the west, the plains, the Rockies. There's your springtime weather. Lots of 70s and 80s. The flowers will be blooming all over the place with that kind of weather.
Yeah. That's right. On the way, we'll talk about severe weather and rain that could affect your travel plans.
And we'll check travel-wise coming up after we take a break, and first check your local forecast.